Hello, listeners, and welcome back to a special episode of Metal Gear Resurrections. I'm your podcast host, Johnny Flores, and this one is titled, it's going to be titled Episode 10, Outtakes, Schmotakes, and Brocakes. This is going to basically be like the stuff that's been left out for what's going to be for the anniversary episode with Metal Gear D Model, aka Clint. And yeah, basically just us talking, gabbing about the Metal Gear series in total. Basically everything that didn't pertain to what we were trying to do with the anniversary episode. So I hope you listen and I hope you enjoy it. All right, so usually how I do it's like I'll do an intro before, so it just goes right into the conversation. So I don't know if you want me to introduce you again.
Sure.
Twice. Yeah. I'll be like, all right, so I'm here with Metal Gear Metal Gear D Model.
Yeah, Metal Gear D Model.
Metal Gear D Model, aka Clint.
Yeah.
You've come onto the Metal Gear Resurrections podcast, which you use the Twitter handle better than I did. I usually go the whole full thing. You go Metal Gear Res. I'm like, oh, that sounds way better. Why didn't I just call the podcast that instead? Because that's not a real word. Resurrections is not a word.
Is it not?
I looked it up and it said it wasn't. Now I'm gonna look it up again because now I'm gonna sound stupid if that was the case.
Resurrections. That's like when you resurrect more than one person, right?
Exactly. I don't think
I did resurrections in the cemetery. I resurrected in
the Matrix used it, and I'm like,
yeah.
I think I have a case against the Wachowskis.
I thought it sounded cool. To me, it sounded like Metal Gear Rex, but it was Metal Gear Res.
Yeah, well, when I came up with the title, it was because pretty much all the podcasts I was listening to, they were done. I was listening to I don't know if you heard Metal Gear Mondays.
I keep hearing about it, but I haven't listened to that one, and I'm not aware of the hosts of it. I don't know if they're in the Twitter community or not.
Well, they're the ones I really got to listening to when this whole thing happened, all the shutdown, and everybody was told to stay home, especially when I lived in New York, unless you're basically, I think I don't know what they called it anymore, type of staff that was deemed necessary. I think it was necessary workers,
essential workers.
Essential workers. There we go.
Yep.
And I was I need to kill time because I'm being paid to stay home. And so I was let me type in Metal Gear in my podcast search, and they're the first ones to come up, and plus the Kojima frequency. But by that time, I think they were ending it, and the Kojima frequency was still continuing, it still is. And from there, I was like, you know what? I want to get my voice out there.
Yeah.
It's but I'm not a super expert. I'm gonna be I know exactly where item X is in building Y. I am nowhere near that. If the games are in front of me, I know where to go.
I've been feeling that pressure of well, if I'm going to speak on Metal Gear, shouldn't I know, oh yeah, use keycard 5 on building 2, floor 3 to get the blank.
No way.
Unfortunately, I'm not that guy. I really like playing Metal Gear, and I watched a playthrough of Metal Gear 2, and I was surprised how quickly the guy flew through it, because they didn't approach the game the way I approach the game. Even though I feel I approach it the most optimal way, they just they knew what floor to go to first, and it's for the most optimization. And I don't.
I'll test it. I'll go on every single floor, try to go to every single door, try to use every single key card.
It's exactly how I play it. I'm just systematically checking every floor and every key card, and I'm oh yeah, there's a door I missed. I need to go back and try again the entire building.
Exactly.
But it's fun to me. Back in the day, that was open world, because everyone's favorite video games back in the 80s were Super Mario Bros. 3, Contra, Ninja Turtles, Castlevania, a whole bunch of stuff like that, where you'd run from left to right on a 2-dimensional screen and just hit bad guys running at you. And that's all it was. And Metal Gear, you got this pseudo 3D environment in front of you where you can go up, down, left, right.
Yeah.
You can go back and forth onto different screens. There's guards, but they have specific patrol patterns, and you can memorize them and get around them. It's more fun.
It was different too, like compared to like the games I was playing. Like, yeah, what you just like basically named off like were the games I was playing during
Yeah,
those times for the NES
all the
days.
best games on Nintendo were just side scrollers.
Yeah, pretty much.
And there are like very few rare games that like did something different and were like way more memorable as a result of it. Like even like I don't know, have you ever played River City Ransom?
Yes, I have.
My favorite Nintendo game. But that's one where you can actually go up and down also, and you can go back to previous screens. And the game actually makes you do that, where like you'll progress through the game, get to the halfway point, and then have to go back because you have to fight like gang members in a park or something who weren't there originally.
Yeah, like I said, like I haven't played since like back in those days.
That's one game I have entirely committed to memory.
And that's like those are the times where it's like I couldn't afford those games. Like you can't like ask your parents like I want like 6 games because all these 6 games are like, you know, the ones like everybody's playing. So like Blockbuster was like my go-to. So I had like basically like, took my mom's card and just went to Blockbuster and like rented like at least like 5 games for a weekend.
That's awesome that you had a Blockbuster. I lived in a small town, so I had P&T Video, which was just a local mom and pop video store, although it was huge.
Yeah.
And it had everything. And it was a Frocco's jewelry and video store, which was also huge and had everything. But it was another mom and pop shop. And that's how I got into Metal Gear.
Oh, okay. So did you, yeah, because say like you played the NES version, right? Right off the bat. Yeah.
I played the NES one right off the bat, and I don't know how I even honed in on it. I just, you accidentally come across games, and that was one of the ones I accidentally came across, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like I said, like, you either can afford a stack of games or you go to the rental store and then get a stack of games and just trial and error and see what sticks. And sometimes you just hit that gem. And it's for this series, it's been like Metal Gear, and that was like for me, it started like in '98. I never got a chance to play the originals. I didn't even know or aware of them.
Metal Gear Solid just felt like a whole new start point for people. Even me, who had grown up on Metal Gear and Snake's Revenge. Like Metal Gear Solid, when it came out, it was just like, oh my God. Like, I don't feel like you had to play the old games to get it.
But it did really, yeah, go ahead.
It felt like just the whole roster of characters was entirely new. There was, Liquid Snake was brand new, and all of his henchmen were brand new. Ocelot, who turned out to be one of the most important figures in the series retroactively. I mean, he was brand new too. I mean, the only returning character that I was aware of was just Gray Fox, and even that's just like, oh, I get it. He's
like a snippet.
He's someone you have history with.
Mm-hmm. And then from that, I was like, who's Gray Fox? From the first game, that was my first game. Metal Gear Solid was my first game, and I was like, who's this guy, Gray Fox? And I was like, what? Who? Because the whole thing was like, when he finally finds out who it is, he's like, Gray Fox. I'm like, who's that? Like, I have no idea who that is. It's like, I know we're supposed to have like some kind of like emotional connection, like through brotherhood there, like being like, soldiers in the battlefield, being foxhounders, which that's another like weird statement from this game, from Metal Gear. Like Solid Snake being called foxhounder, which I'd never heard that before.
Like I grew up on that term and I loved it. I miss it a little bit because they got away from Foxhound. Like if I was in charge of the series and wrote them and direct them, it all would have been Foxhound versus Outer Heaven, different incidents. Oh, yeah. I would have never thought to like change like the name of the heroic group or change the name of the villain group. It just wouldn't have occurred to me.
I mean, like, and then like playing all these like considered like modern games for the Metal Gear Solid series, and then going back to this game, it's like I see like so many like similarities, like so many like bits and pieces that are like taken from here and there and thrown into like throughout the series. And like even if you do like a remake, it's like an easy patch in a story.
I think so too.
You can have like because in the beginning he's like swimming to the base, right? Which like you can have that in the beginning and say like, oh, in order to get the big bad, he's not on Mother Base. He's like off platform in Africa.
Yeah.
We just say that because like you do see like you go through a desert and you go through like you go through 3 different buildings. And from that, it's like, yeah, you could change that. You can easily say like you start here and then like say like Solid Snake just hijacks a helicopter to go over to the next base.
He absolutely could. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about like if they were to remake a Metal Gear, I would do Outer Heaven as like maybe it's what it is. Like I always just assumed Outer Heaven was just the base and only the base.
Yeah.
But Outer Heaven could be like an entire small nation in Africa.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like I swear I read this. As much as I told you to go back and read the instruction manual, I never did.
I have it. I pulled it up.
Going off memory here, but I could have sworn it says in the instruction manual that Diane, she's like a famous pop star who sings at like a local club in the region, and like she gets information off like Outer Heaven soldiers that come in there. Like, make that part of the game. I would love it if you're like very early in the game, Solid Snake has to like, dress like he's clubbing, go into the bar and like make contact with Diane, who's like lounge singing on a piano. She's wearing like a blue dress and
do some like horrible flirtation because like Solid Snake's like horrible at flirting with women.
That'd be so much fun.
Series. Like you could just go up to her and be like, I like your butt. I mean your voice, sorry.
I have some thoughts on Diane. At my most recent playthrough.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say like she's a pop punk band. She's a singer in a pop punk band called Thin Wall.
Can you imagine Snake walking in there with his mullet and like he has like on like clubbing clothes? I don't know, but maybe just like a white button-up shirt and like I don't know,
or maybe
whatever you wear at a club in South Africa. And he goes in there and just like laser lights and colored lights flashing and like people dancing and like Snake making his way through the crowd. I have to make contact with Diane. She's a resistance member.
You could do like two callbacks, like from how you described the club, Terminator. Yes. And then Solid Snake's like he's not prepared to like go clubbing with his uniform. Just literally size up somebody that equals his like height and weight, or almost like Terminator vision, but Solid Snake vision, and just like incapacitate the person and take his clothes.
You can have one of those Indiana Jones moments where like people are dancing and clubbing and like Solid Snake like reaches across the bar table, grabs a dude and pulls him back over the bar. Punches him a few times. Then he stands up. He's just like wearing his clothes.
Pop a cigarette in. Let's go.
That'd be so funny.
But yeah, I could say like that's like how it first starts. Like for this game, it's like which I'm like thankful like I'm starting this with you because I don't think I would have actually gone through and played these games.
It's fun. It's fun to go back. I mean, I think you'd said on Shane's podcast about how like whatever your entry point is in the series, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't tell people like you got to play one immediately, or even like these games. Like no, whatever game you like that gets you interested into the series, go into it and just like.
I've been listening to a lot of people's stories on these podcasts now where they're like, I was a kid when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out and I played it and loved it. And then I went back and played Metal Gear Solid 1 and it's like, I guess some people aren't approaching 40. And that's perfectly fine.
Oh, geez. Because like, this is going to be 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
For this game. And I'm going to actually look up like what I was going to say, like, did you look up like, what is the anniversary for 35?
Oh, yeah. July 13th.
Oh, no, like gift wise, like if this is like a married couple.
Oh, like what you would get for someone on their 35th anniversary?
It says Coral.
Coral?
Yeah, because you know what? I don't know anybody that's been married for like 35 years.
Just my parents. They celebrated their 40th or 45th recently.
If I do, it's like I've probably forgotten. Yeah, it says Vibrant Coral takes the cake as both traditional gift and preferred color this year, whereas Beautiful Jade, a stimulant of love, blah, 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 comes in as modern gift. I don't know, it says Coral, 35th anniversary Coral.
Let me see here. I had my 35th birthday 2 years ago before the pandemic started, and I don't remember anybody making a terribly big deal about
it. But I do hope that like something is like, I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. It's a little bit embarrassing. Like I can understand like you had the rift between the person who pretty much like helmed the series for you. But I
feel like that's exactly what it is. I mean, while Kojima was with the series and they did the 20th anniversary, which like was like leading up to Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
And the 25th anniversary, which was leading right up to like Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and Metal Gear Solid 5. Konami was more than happy to bring out all the veterans of the series and talk about the MSX days and bring out all the artifacts, like Metal Gear concept models from the series and like put them in display cases. They were very proud of the history and the lineage of all of it, and the fact that like it had been under the same control for like 25 years, and now that there's that rift, I don't think Konami is really going to be celebrating the history of Metal Gear anymore. I think what they're going to be looking to is merchandising the items people know, and planning what to do with future AAA Metal Gear games.
Yeah, so it's like the merchandise is not even that great either.
Not anymore.
No.
I used to think the Metal Gear series was like high quality merchandise, like
from like the past. Yeah.
You go into GameStop and they have like cheap plastic Mario figures or mushrooms or whatever, or Legend of Zelda, like crappy little figures. The Metal Gear series, I mean, it had these awesome collectibles, these really cool posable figures and model kits, and it was always like high quality merchandise for like a really high quality game series.
Oh yeah, like that's what I started with the action figures, was the McFarlane figures for like one.
I wish I'd done that. The games came out and all the merchandise came out too, and it was affordable.
Yeah,
but I was always like, I don't need that stuff. And now that I'm doing this like Metal Gear D model research build, I'm like, gosh, why didn't I do that stuff? Like that'd be so cool if I already had like Rex, Ray, and Shagahud and everything that's in Peace Walker. I can't even remember half of them other than Peace Walker and Zeke. And and now if I want to have like all of the Metal Gears on my shelves, I have to go buy most of them on the secondhand market.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like it'll cost you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'll just wait until they do like a new HD collection, and suddenly some modeling companies like, hey, we should do Rex again, or we should do Shagahud.
Yeah, they didn't even do like did they do from 5, or other people call it V?
Yeah, they did do from 5. Every once in a while I'll run across like a model kit of that ST-84, but
you don't say Sahelanthropus.
It's too much of a mouth. Sahelanthropus.
It's Skullface is embedded in my head. The way he speaks, the way he pronunciates Sahelanthropus. He's like Sahelanthropus.
I see these words in writing all the time, and I read them all the time, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know that. And then when characters pronounce it in the games, I'm like, I know what they're talking about. But then when I try to say it out loud, I just sound so stupid.
It wasn't even called like Metal Gear Sahelanthropus. It was just Sahelanthropus. Right? They didn't call it a Metal Gear. Did they? No.
That's an interesting point. I'm trying to remember like how you even know it's in development in the game. Like, do you only find out that it's coming about because they capture Huey at some point, right? And then you break into like what seems like a power plant in a valley.
It is, and you're kind of like stalking them to get Huey. Like you're going in to get Huey. And you get a glimpse of it when Huey gets like thrown down the flight of stairs again. Because I think that's like the second time. Like I think he was thrown a flight of stairs in Peace Walker.
I forget how much you go through in that game. Because when I beat the game, I'm like, gosh, there wasn't much story. But then I'm like reflecting back on it. I'm like, wait, no, a lot of stuff does happen in the game though.
And then sometimes like the side ops include part of the story.
Oh yeah. The most famous one I can think of is like the one where you have to go retrieve Volgan's body.
Which was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a fun one, because that one I decided to like, you know what? I'm just gonna rip roar and just like basically like just shoot everything and everyone in my way for this body. Because I thought it was like, for some reason in my head, like when I did that mission, I know we're going off topic. For some reason I thought like it was like, all right, I think this mission is time sensitive. They'll probably tell me like, oh, I'm halfway in it, and I'm like, I gotta get in there before a helicopter shows up and takes his body. So I decided.
I hate time sensitive missions. Whenever they put a clock over your head, I hate it. There was the one where they're like, there's like a convoy of tanks. You have to destroy 8 tanks in 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Oh, God. Just let me look through my binoculars, feel like I've spotted every single soldier, and then let me like figure out their patterns real slowly while I eat a sandwich. And then once I feel like I have it down, let me walk through the base where nobody can see me.
That's kind of the beauty of that one. I think for that one, like even if you don't do it properly, it would actually deviate and give you more options.
Yeah,
to continue that mission. So I actually enjoyed that. But yeah, the time sensitive stuff. Oh, like from 1 when you're like, you've defeated like Liquid, and you're like, all right, you get the hell out of there, and you have to go through the tunnel, and they're like, oh, here's a timer. I'm like, why? It's like,
I hate
I'm already
timers.
pressured enough. It's like, I need to.
My least favorite part in Metal Gear Solid 2 is when the bombs are going to go off and there's a timer, and I'm like, oh no. I don't like this type of thing. Just let me sneak around.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just let me sneak around. Why?
Yeah, I know. Like the even if you go to like the first one, it lets you sneak around a lot. Like basically to get to know the new controls, new like your new surroundings and everything.
That's what I love the most. My ideal Metal Gear Solid 6 is one where you could sneak around so much that you can just completely skip over boss fights.
And then that's why like what a lot of people said to you like online was like, that's Ground Zeroes.
Oh yeah. That's why Ground Zeroes is probably my favorite.
Because there's no time, there's no boss, there's just like you can just sneak around Omega Camp all you want. Tag them. Basically, like I was doing tagging and bagging and tagging, but reverse, like tagging and bagging the soldiers. I was like, well, I'm Big Boss. I'm in Cuba. What's the worst that could happen? It's like I'm gonna like wreck this like base here.
That's a really interesting thing to think about. Is that in Metal Gear Solid 3, like you are an American soldier, you're going on a mission against Russia.
Yeah.
The Cold War and these I can't remember what they used to call America and Russia during the Cold War. What were they called? They were the superpowers.
Oh yeah.
And you go through the game and it's transformative for Naked Snake. Where like at the end of it, he's getting like pinned with awards, but you can tell he doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
And then in Peace Walker, like you're just like a mercenary, like a gun for hire, like fighting in like Central America countries. Is this kind of like Metal Gear situations going on? And then by the time you get to Ground Zero, Metal Gear Solid 5, like you are leading an incursion against an American base with American soldiers.
Yeah, it's like
you've completely switched your allegiance and perspective.
Yeah, it shows the sliding, basically the slide down, like to what the big boss that we hear, like because we never see him in action, we just hear about him. And then by 4, I think it's like the legend is like so massive, where it's like he is like this living legend mercenary who had like basically legions of armies, his own nations. And basically he was his own superpower, and just like the world is just afraid of him and what he can do.
Yeah.
And
that was the one thing I think helped that retcon that Venom Snake and Big Boss are 2 different people. Because I was like, well, gosh, like
it makes sense.
He created a nation in Africa and it was defeated in 1995. And then by 1999, he has another nation established.
That's too quick. 4 years. Too quick.
That's too quick of a turnaround.
Yeah.
I've accomplished nothing in the past 4 years. And Big Boss created with another Metal Gear and like facilities and helicopters and soldiers. I couldn't have done that.
And definitely like an upgraded Metal Gear from the first one.
We should get back on track. We're here to talk about Metal Gear, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like we're talking about everything else but Metal Gear. But yeah, like were there any differences between the NES and the MSX? Like I know that I've heard people say there is.
Oh,
but I don't remember.
Tons of differences. Like in the NES version, you jump out of an airplane after like 3 soldiers jump out before you.
Mm.
And I remember everybody always criticizing those other 3 soldiers. They're like, well, those never come back throughout the entire game.
Oh, okay.
These other 3 soldiers are never mentioned. At the time, I mean, I was so young, I thought they were like Diane, Jennifer, and Kyle Schneider, but that doesn't really fit with the story.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like, they send in 4 soldiers and you're the one that made it.
Oh, okay.
But you land in a jungle that's not in the MSX version. And it's actually really well designed. I mean, I really like the way the jungle plants look, and in the background there's like the night sky, and you're like on this like dirt path. And you have to navigate this jungle, which isn't too hard to navigate at all. And, you eventually start to see like little concrete structures that look like kind of prison cells or something. And You jump into the back of a truck, and the next thing you know, you're right in front of building 1, which is no longer a dock with an open garage door. It's now just like the front of a concrete base with a door and a few trucks parked in front of it. But you go inside, and the level design starts to get a little similar. At first, not so much. It's like 6 screens of nothing but like parked tanks and parked Jeeps.
Yeah.
And very frequently there are soldiers. But as you start to go deeper and deeper into that first floor, the level design starts to match up with the MSX version a little more.
Okay, yeah, because this is my first like time playing the game, and it automatically like goes right into like it just like slides down like it's like MSX, and I was like, oh okay, I was like, this is from the from those I never played the NES ones. I like I said, like I never realized what basically this game existed until like much later in the series. But for this game, it's like it's a breath of fresh air compared to the other games. Because like I'm so used to like going back to those graphics. I've lived those graphics, and plus a lot of these games, like indie games, are coming out now are like basically like are like homages to those days. Like I'm seeing like a lot of like 8-bit, what looks like 8-bit games, but like they're even more detailed.
Well, sure. I mean, they probably have like 4K resolution, or at least they're HD, but like they're making it to look retro. They're obsessed with making games that look like Metal Gear or look like Final Fantasy VI, where it's like we're nostalgic for those kind of graphics. And I mean, maybe it's just me. I feel like the graphics in Metal Gear still hold up, even though they're 8-bit. I mean, there's like these like green or blue tile or brown tile floors, and there's like concrete walls with cracks in them, and you know the tanks and the crates throughout the levels, and the way the levels are designed, and the elevators, the way they open, like, and specifically like the Solid Snake sprite. I mean, to me, that just looks like a piece of art.
Yeah, because I could kind of like see like his uniform, like especially when you go from front to his back.
Yeah, it like looks like the soldier that's kind of hunched over, and as he walks, his shoulders are like moving. And even in Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, which we're going to play next, I don't think the Solid Snake design looks as good. It's like drawn too well. He's got these brown boots, green pants, this green shirt on. He's got a head with a bandana, and he just looks too good. And in the original Metal Gear game, he looked like this cluster of pixels where when you look at it, it just, your imagination goes wild.
Now I was going to ask you a question. Like, going throughout the whole game, I've noticed like the soldiers, like the regular soldiers, like I'm not going to go into like the other like ones like from like the rooftop. I've noticed like between the buildings, like their uniforms will be different, almost like color coordinated to the floor. Something like this, that building.
I didn't even think about that. I was thinking about like the outfits they're wearing, because when you first start the game, they're all wearing kind of brown, and it's like, okay, that must be the uniform of Outer Heaven. But then you're seeing soldiers that have like red or blue or green, and I was trying to figure out what does that mean? Like, are they stronger? Do they have more health? Does it mean? Like, I noticed. I think the ones that were wearing like specifically green uniforms, they were just stationary, where they wouldn't patrol or walk. I think they were just like changing directions that they faced.
Yeah, because like they would kind of like go like only 2 spots. I noticed like the blue ones go like almost like in 3 different spots to go look.
Yeah,
they won't go full 360, but they'll go like from they'll turn and then turn again. Like
you get
times.
The impression that Kojima's going for something there, where it's like, okay, the green ones are almost like tough SWAT guys or something. You get the impression that the change in uniform means something, but there's some kind of significance to it. And I'm sure there's probably somebody out there on some other podcast going, oh yeah, the red ones have like more health and you have to shoot them twice. Well, though I'm pretty sure one shot will kill any soldier in the game.
It does actually. It does.
So I'm not sure exactly what it is. I don't know if they have like a slightly different weapon that shoots farther. I'm not sure. Or they move faster, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could really like take away from was like some of them were actually matching almost like the buildings, the building and the floor they were in, like the uniforms would match some of the tiles on the floor, and I was like, all right,
That
this
could
is
be
like
it. I
really
mean, when we're talking
building.
about an 8-bit system, we're talking about like a limited palette of colors. And I know in Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, the first time you see Metal Gear D, it's like it's standing on like gray dirt, and it is gray.
Oh, okay.
And then when you fight it in the finale, you're standing in a green room, and it is green.
Oh, okay. That might be
So
it.
You
Like,
might
I'm
be
probably-
right that it's like literally like
Yeah.
whatever color palette they need for that screen, they're just changing the enemy uniforms to be that part of that color palette.
Gotcha. Like I'm probably like I'm here like probably like looking into like deep diving into like the
Yeah.
uniforms. Like
I'm trying to figure it out in my head, and
uniform.
I couldn't quite figure it out. It's real cool. It just seems like a real cool world building. It doesn't seem completely random.
Yeah, no, because like even it's like because this is like these are like 8-bit graphics. Like this world is like it's still pretty vibrant. There's a lot of colors. There's a lot of features. There's a lot of vehicles, different enemies, based on uniforms, and even like attack dogs, which I've never like come across games back then. Which was a whole big fun for that during that maze. The attack dogs, and they follow you, which I didn't know that would happen. They would follow you throughout the whole maze. I'm just
it's kind of scary.
It is because I'm running around, and then all of a sudden, like, as I leave the screen, the dog would like split next to it, and he's like, "Oh crap, I'm being followed right now." And at one point, I was actually cornered with 2 dogs coming at me from both directions, like one from like south, one from north, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like,
"That's when you pull out the Uzi and just go to town."
But luckily, I had like I had a silencer, and that's another thing I noticed. Like when you finally get the silencer, your machine gun your pistol like does not sound as loud.
That's right. And it doesn't alert guards on the screen. If you shoot your gun without the silencer, it alerts all the guards on the screen immediately. And when you have the silencer, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, because I was like, for this game, I was like, I was basically playing with headphones on my computer. Because I was kind of like doing like back and forth. I was doing a computer and my PS3. And I was like, all right, I'm more comfortable in the computer, and I could put in headphones and not bother anybody in the house while I'm playing this game like in the middle of the night while everybody's like sleeping. And from there, I was like, oh wow, I was like, I can hear the gunfire. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then when I finally get the silencer, I was like, oh yes. And then I was like, how do I attach it? I thought for the longest time I had to attach it.
Oh no, it's just
it's just automatic.
It starts working.
And then like
doesn't matter the weapon you pull out. I think if you pull out the Uzi or the pistol, it's just silenced all this.
And that's another thing like I kind of miss like with these digital games. There's no instruction manual you can have like right in front of you that you can like read to yourself.
Back in the instruction manual days, we'd do things like scribble down like what frequency Big Boss was, or Diane, Jennifer, or Kyle, and I kind of miss that a little bit.
I'm back when like they would give you an actual instruction manual that didn't have like just one page that says like like has
usually
like,
the back page or two would just
stuff.
say notes, and it would be a completely empty page where you could like scribble down things you needed to know.
Oh god, I miss those days.
That's another thing that's another difference from the NES. You mentioned the mazes, which were in the basements of each level or building.
Mm-hmm.
In the NES version, they take those basements and just make those buildings 4 and 5.
Oh, okay. All right. So there's like more buildings for the NES version.
That's right. But it's just like the basement as a building.
Gotcha.
And the thing that's a living nightmare is they do that. Do you remember in Legend of Zelda that there was like very early in Legend of Zelda, you enter the woods and there's like a path you have to follow to proceed to the next area?
Yeah.
That the woods will keep repeating itself over and over and over again until you do the path properly.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear does that on the Nintendo, but it's a living nightmare.
Oh my god!
Because instead of just like one path at the top of the screen, one path at the bottom, and one path on the left and right, on Metal Gear, there's 2 paths on the top of the screen, 2 paths on the bottom, and 1 path on the left and right. And it turns out that could equal like 100,000 different combinations. And you literally can't figure it out unless you've read like the issue of Nintendo Power that tells you how to navigate.
Well, that's another thing. Yeah. You used to have to get like the magazine.
Yeah,
because they had their own like strategy, like tips and guides for the the games like came out.
I guess my brother had it memorized. I did not. So every time I made it to that jungle maze, I'd kind of hand the controller to my brother and go, here, can you help me get to the prison area real quick?
Yeah, like, I was gonna say like I had that same thing with like I'm the older brother, but I had the same thing with my cousin who was like 3 years older than me. So we would be playing the NES games like constantly, like every weekend. He would come over and we just like go through like all these games. And then when it got really difficult and I couldn't do it, I would just hand it off to him. Like, here, can you do this for me? It's like, I can't comprehend this.
It was messed up. Like some of those games, as good as they were designed to sell like issues of Nintendo Power. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, like you have to like kneel in front of a dead end with a red crystal so that a tornado comes and takes you to another area. And you would never know to do that because the game never tells you to do that. Oh. The only way you would know to do that is if you bought the Nintendo Power that told you what to do.
And there was also the hotline.
Well, yeah, there was the hotline, but like,
but you had to like call and like
it was a 1-800 number, and back then, if you called a 1-800 number, you were in trouble because the phone bill would suddenly be like $7 higher.
Yeah,
and your parents would be like, $7 on the phone bill? Do you realize that's 8 gallons of gas?
I was doing that. I was calling them with the game and telling them, like, I can't get through it. And they're like,
I never had the guts. Like this was before the internet. So like,
yeah,
you relied on those conversations on the school bus of, do you know how to get past the jungle in Metal Gear?
Yep.
That was the only source of information, was that someone else had told other people through the generations. And hopefully someone on your bus route knew how to do it. Usually they didn't.
I was going to say, like, I didn't have anybody to talk to Metal Gear.
Yeah, me neither. That's part of the reason why I'm here. I'm just begging people, hey, can I be on the podcast? I really want to talk to somebody about Metal Gear.
Well, you're making your rounds.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's addicting. When I run out of stuff to talk about, I'm gonna be real sad because
what else is there?
I don't feel like anybody will have me on their podcast anymore.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there's always stuff to talk about with this series.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I mean, like for me, like I know all the games, I know all the stories, I know all the characters now. Like there's not much mystique left, unfortunately.
I know,
and that's why I'll go like long periods of time before I play the games again, because the only mystique that's left is kind of forgetting about the game a little bit and then replaying it and going, oh yeah, that's right, you can kill the end.
I remember that when
he's on the pier before you fight him.
But watch out for his tire.
For the tire on his wheelchair hits you right in the face. I discovered that and I told my friend about it and he said, you're lying. I don't believe that that's true. And I brought him over to my house to show him and I couldn't pull it off a second time.
Oh yeah.
I kept hitting him with a sniper rifle over and over and over again, but he'd like wheel into the building too quickly. And I'm like, it can be done. I did it on the first try. I'm telling you, this is real.
It's not a fever dream.
And he thought I was a big liar.
Well, I was gonna say, to deviate, like I was really bad at that battle where it took me like, I played it and then stopped playing for like 2 weeks, came back to it and he died.
That's fantastic. That's a great story.
Because he frustrated me so much. It was like, he killed me like, well, he didn't kill you. He like knocks you out and then you end up.
Yeah, he knocks you out and like carries you to a prison. Because that's the thing. Like when I played the battle, I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. I know what Kojima's trying to convey here. I'm going to take it really seriously. Yeah. I'm going to like lay down and put on the best camouflage I have. And I'm going to slowly crawl to the top of the cliff. And when I get to the top of the cliff, I'm going to pull out my sniper rifle and slowly look around the screen until I find this guy. And maybe I'll even have some plants in front of my face. Maybe that'll give me a little bit of extra cover. And I tried to do that. And the next thing I know, he's standing over me going, ha, you thought you could sneak up on me, huh? And he just tranquilizes you and carries you away. And I'm like, that sucks.
For a character who's like such an old character, like he's an old man, like beyond, like I think he's like 100 plus. He was like at a time the scariest boss I came across during that time when Metal Gear Solid 3 came out.
He was. They tried to make the Fear the scariest boss, but he was not the scariest boss at all. Nope. He was kind of the silliest. Every other boss scared me way more. The Fury, the End, the Pain, the Sorrow. I was so much scared. Vulcan.
Yeah.
I was so much scared of everybody else, but when I fought the Fear, I was laughing most of the time.
Yeah, because I think he tries to come off like a mixture of the Predator mixed with like Spider-Man, Wolverine kind of like mix.
Yeah. He's like popping his joints out of socket, like
climbing really up trees gross.
Backwards, and it's like, this is just kind of silly.
When he did that, I was like, oh, that's disgusting. It's like, why doesn't like Snake remark to like, that's gross. You could just do that to your body. It's like, oh my god. But
it's funny.
let's say going back
Yeah,
for yeah, I
yeah,
know.
we should refocus on the original Metal
I know.
Gear.
I'm really bad at that. Like that's why I always like when I have a guest on like now because like I got my brother helping me because it's difficult doing this by yourself, trying to talk
Oh
like
yeah,
by yourself.
I get off topic so easily, and
Yeah, that's my
just because I love the series so much, and I don't want
I
to leave
mean,
people with the impression that the original Metal Gear is boring and it's easy to lose
no,
track of
it's
what you're talking
not.
about.
Yeah, that's me. That's me as well. Like my brother would actually like signal me like would like hand signal like get back on what you're supposed to be talking about.
Is that the signal?
It's like this like hey,
Okay,
do that.
okay, I'll try to motion to you if we get off topic.
But like for Metal Gear, like I didn't realize like you can actually like almost like pretty much like be like face to face with the guards at their blind spots.
Yeah, that's
I
kind
didn't
of
realize about blind
that's it,
spots.
it breaks the illusion, and I like to
Yeah.
maintain that illusion, so I try to take it a little more seriously. But the truth is, if you're just like underneath their chin, you can walk right past them,
Yes.
and like 3/4 of your body like moves past 3/4 of their body, and they don't see you because their head is not looking directly at like your head. So, you know, you can cheat the gameplay mechanics. But
Yeah, I was like,
I try to take it as seriously as I can. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait till their back's turned and I'm gonna run past them.
I only perfected it in my third playthrough.
You did
that.
3 playthroughs?
Yeah, 3. So far 3, and I'm gonna keep going back to it
That's
because
awesome.
I like this is this is like how I break it down like for these games. It's like for those kind of like those kind of things that you kind of like cheese the game basically. I kind of like put it in my mind like all right, even though like Snake is like basically this is his first operation, it's like he's been trained to like basically infiltrate and sneak. So it's like yes, I'm like you can actually like there are people out there who can like basically you will not know that they could be like right behind you. Like people in the military, like they would like be right behind you, would not know they were there, and just like as soon as you turn around, they're gone.
That's
Like that's
scary.
where I come with that. That's where I come with that belief. It's like I don't want to break out of the like fourth wall of the game. Like, well, this is because of the limitations. Like, no. It's like Snake is just that elite right here. It's like
He
this is
is
his
that
first
elite.
mission, but he's been trained by Big Boss.
I just watched Top Gun 2 yesterday, and I'm not going to spoil
Mhm.
anything for you because you probably want to see it too. But like, there's a scene where he's training the new guys, and they're flying their jets in a pair,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Where the hell is he?" And then he's underneath their jet with his,
Yeah.
and he like barrel rolls over the top of them,
Mm-hmm.
so that like his windshield is like right above the other guy's windshield. He's like, I'm here, and you're dead.
Kind of like that. It's kind of like that. But
let's try to
Mhm.
let's see if we can kind of talk our way through the game from the beginning. I really want to do the original Metal Gear justice here.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we've been talking. We probably wasted an hour just like kind of stream of conscious. But I really want to convince people that the original Metal Gear still has value. And there's all these conversations. People are like, oh, they should totally remake Metal Gear 1 and 2 for the MSX. And like, put it in the Fox. Well, they were saying that like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Put it in the Fox engine and like make it one game. Like make the original Metal Gear like the Virtuous mission.
Mm-hmm.
And then take Metal Gear 2 and make that the full mission. And it's like, no, you don't need to do that. A remake would be cool, but they are two different stories, and you should treat them as two different stories for one. And two, there's still a lot of value in those original games.
Oh, most definitely. Basically, like they're like it's like these are the beginning. This is the beginning of the franchise.
Yeah,
and
this game is the breakthrough. I mean, this is people have pointed out. Oh, well, no, there were other stealth games before Metal Gear, and that's true. I mean, there were other games with stealth elements, but I mean, this is the iconic stealth title. Those other games that came out before Metal Gear, I don't think that was those games came and went. Those franchises, they're not. They didn't birth a Kojima. They didn't birth a Metal Gear franchise. This is like the first blockbuster of the stealth genre, and it's still great. Like
flashback immediately to 5. It could have been like to numerous of like any of those like platforms. I actually see like Snake swimming in that ocean. And I flash back to it, and I kind of see like what the emblem is supposed to be, the Outer Heaven emblem instead of like we're beyond Diamond Dogs because now we're at Outer Heaven, and I see it, and I can actually see the base itself, how the soldiers patrol, because I've actually played Metal Gear, go back to 5, and kind of like monitor and look for the similarities there, and like the patrols and the soldiers, I'm seeing all of that just before that happened.
I'm glad you brought this up. We're not going to get straight too far off topic, but like when Metal Gear Solid 5 was coming out and they're like the missing piece of the puzzle, see how a soldier becomes a demon and stuff like that. And like they've got like pictures of Big Boss with blood on his face and he's got like a horn or something and he's got fire behind him and he's rubbing soldiers' ashes on his face. I'm like, oh my God. Like I had a mental image of how Metal Gear Solid 5 would end. And this is how I thought it would end. I thought it would end by you, incurring on a base in Africa or something like that, and like wiping out Skullface in that base in Africa or whatever. But like when the game ends, like the facility is yours. And I thought the game was gonna end with like these concrete walls with like cracks in them, and like soldiers pulling into this like first level garage with these like transport trucks and like unloading cargo crates and setting them down. And I thought we would see Big Boss and Master Miller walking and talking down this hallway about like the themes of Metal Gear and what it's all meant and like what they're trying to accomplish. And, as they're making their final point, I thought we would see them walk out onto that dock, that very first screen in the very first Metal Gear where there's a fence and tanks parked next to them with crates next to them. And the camera pulls back and you just see that there's this like large lake or body of water in front of them. And you see like the Metal Gear Outer Heaven Building 1, as it pulls back and those two figures get smaller and smaller and smaller. I thought that would be the end of Metal Gear Solid 5. I thought that'd be pretty cool.
Well, I think if you're going to interpret 5, I think actually we do get a glimpse of that, but not like how you described it. For going back to where I'm sorry, we're going off topic again.
It's okay. We'll go off topic a little bit.
Because you know what,
editing, but this is part of the fun of it.
These two games are so connected. Like I don't think people even like either choose to see it or maybe they don't know it. Because at the end of 5, when it's kind of like Venom is breaking down those mental barriers they put up for him to like remember who he was, or he's who he's supposed to be. He's remembering who he was before all this, and we get the tape where it's Big Boss and he's reassuring him like, you remember who you are, but now we are the same person. During that time, you can see like in that room just like the strew of like basically like weaponry, the rocket launchers,
got like racks of bullets, guns, and there's crates with bullets sitting on top of them,
and that's where it comes to like playing with headphones all the time. I can actually hear gunshots and an alarm going off when he's in that room. So when he smashes that mirror and he's leaving, it's Outer Heaven. The logo is Outer Heaven. It's no longer Diamond Dogs. We've traveled through time, and I think we're led to believe is that when he leaves that room, it's Solid Snake outside of that room that he's going to confront. I kind of wish like they would have like shown like your interpretation would actually been pretty good. Like going like, haha. It's like to be continued. How? Go to the past to play Metal Gear.
That would have been a fun Easter egg, kind of like in Peace Walker, where if you keep playing it past the ending, that's where you find out that Paz is the bad guy and you fight Zeke. Yeah. It'd be cool if there was a way in Metal Gear Solid 5 where if you keep playing it, you can be in that room, that concrete room with 2 doors and 6 crates where Solid Snake walks in and he's got all of his arsenal weapons, and it's like the toughest boss fight in video game history where you can barely even beat him, but like if you're able to beat Solid Snake, it says like time paradox.
Oh, that was it. But you know what,
like if he kills you, it's just like game over.
Yeah, it's like going back in time. It's like there was supposed to like be like more content for this game.
Yeah,
I forgot, and I think they were like going to do something like that. Like I got that feeling like there was going to be a lead up, but
we'll do some research when we talk about Metal Gear Solid 5, and we'll dive deeper into it. Let's go ahead and let's Lindelof, who writes, and I think he might direct now, but he created Lost. And I can't even remember what network Lost was on, but basically the studio was like, "Oh, great, we have a hit show. We're going to keep this show on TV for 12 years."
Yeah.
And Damien Lindelof is like, "No, like I have a vision for this. I want to end it like 3 seasons in and done. Like you can't keep doing these gags for 12 years." And then the studio comes back to him and they're like, "Well, what about 11 years?" No, like you can only do so many flashbacks to Jack being an alcoholic.
Exactly.
When he was a doctor before it just gets old. And eventually, like, he had to negotiate it all the way down to, we're going to end after 6 seasons, and seasons 4, 5, and 6 are going to be like shortened. They're going to be like half the episodes. But even then, it had gone on longer than he'd wanted. And then the show just kind of, it wasn't very good by the last season.
Yeah, it kind of fizzled.
Yeah. Anyway,
bang.
Back to Metal Gear.
I might cut that.
We probably need to cut a lot of that. Go ahead and cut a lot of that. We don't need that.
Anyway, lost.
So
someone in these writers' rooms play the games, because this is not the only movie to do that.
There's no way that somebody involved in Top Gun 2 hadn't played a Metal Gear Solid game where you fight a Hind D. Exactly. I'm willing to bet good money that that's exactly what happened.
Even going to the last Bond film, and the
Fox Die. Is it Fox Die? I haven't seen the new
Fox Die.
I'm a huge James Bond fan. I've seen the first 4 Daniel Craig movies, but I haven't seen No Time to Die. But I've been led to believe that there's a lot of Metal Gear Solid in there,
which is perfect because you know what, Metal Gear Solid references James Bond.
Oh, sure. Hang on just a second. Yep. Here we go.
Oh my god. Is that the watch?
That's the watch.
I saw it on your post.
Yeah, so I think Roger Moore and Octopussy wore that watch.
Yes, it's the Octopussy watch.
And then they designed one very similar to it and put it in the Phantom Pain, and I had to get one for myself. Anyway, so you fight a Hind.
Yes.
Rambo That's where he gets 2, the bandana. He doesn't have a bandana the entire movie. And then when his female contact, which he's kind of fallen in love with, and he's like, I'll take you back to America. You know, that's my Stallone impression. I'll take you back to America after this mission. And then, like, right after they're talking about their future, she's like, "Oh, Rambo, I left my gun over there on the rocks that we were talking at, where we professed our love for each other. I'm going to go over there and get my gun." And then some Viet Cong soldiers just gun her down immediately. And he freaks out and kills them. But I think when he buries her body, he like tears some of her red dress off and ties it around his head.
Yeah, that's where my mind went to.
That's where Snake should get his bandana in the Metal Gear movie. And that's what the evidence he should have to prove to Petra. Snake just kind of spits out his drink and goes, "What the hell?"
Oh, I have almost like a radio show.
That'd be fun. That'd be a fun thing to work into each of these episodes to like do our own little thing. Like when you'd wished Lana good morning, Metal Gear Nation. And we got into the back and forth about Snake being so thick that he didn't notice that Master Miller's not even Master Miller.
Oh yeah.
I think that would make a good one for the Metal Gear Solid episode.
I would do it.
Let's try it. We're recording these almost a month in advance. We might have a little time to play around and add some audio.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You mean like, oh, do you want to cue it in the podcast, or were you doing like a different?
Yeah. Let's see if we can. Shane has some. You listen to Shane's spaces a lot, right?
Yeah.
Have you caught wind that there's somebody in her spaces that follows her?
You did
that can do a really good solid Snake impression.
You mentioned somebody. I don't know who it is. I might have missed.
I'm gonna have to ask Shane.
Yeah.
There's somebody in there. They are a dead ringer for David Hayter.
I mean, and Shane said in the past before, you can get David on your podcast because he likes to go on podcasts.
Well, I feel like Shane could get David. I don't.
Yeah, she can get. She got the pull, but I don't think she'll do that. Like something so like that. Yeah.
We could honestly just pull an audio file of David as Snake saying, "What the hell?"
Could do that, yeah.
Because Snake doesn't say anything through the entire game.
No, yeah, exactly.
Unless you call somebody and you're like, "This is Solid Snake, come in."
Mm-hmm.
That's literally all he says the entire game. Anyway, let's
Rewind.
hopefully you
Rewind
cut
it.
all of that segue, and we'll return to what we're actually talking about. The thing I like about Metal Gear, a lot of video games that you would play in that era, you would get to the boss fight, and the boss would be like 12 feet tall or 18 feet tall.
Yeah.
And you're just a normal height dude, is 6 feet tall, and you'd fight this guy like in Contra.
Mm-hmm.
In Contra, you get to the end of a level, and it looks like there's like a jukebox at the end of the level. And there's like this football player with spiky shoulders that like runs back and forth and hits you, and you have to jump over him and shoot him. And he's like 18 feet tall. In Metal Gear, everybody you fight, whether they're the normal guards in Outer Heaven, the prisoners, Dr. Petrovich, or the boss fights, everyone is a normal sized human.
Yes.
And they're all kind of realistically strong. They're not like superhumans. They're just like human. Yeah, I mean, sure, you're hitting them with a few remote control missiles too many, but for the most part,
but no, like
the boss fights in Metal Gear feel like real people.
Yeah, because like nobody has like any really special abilities. They're just like good at.
They don't have special
things.
abilities. They're not crazy powered like most video game boss fights are. They feel like just I'm fighting a guy that's a little stronger and a guy that's just a little better of a shot than your average Outer Heaven security guard.
Yeah. There's no like we don't go into the whole realm of like, you know, people with abilities. They're like way beyond a normal human being. It's all grounded for this game.
Yeah. And I like that. And I think they do a series of Metal Gear Solid movie adaptations. I really think it needs to start there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. There's like,
I'm worried if they start with something like the Skull Unit, where these like bullet sponges show up.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Or like these hot chicks that look like the Borg from Star Trek The Next Generation. And every time they show up, people turn into zombies around them, except for the hero. That's just, I think that's like, you have to work your way to that.
It's too outlandish. Yeah. But
start with Outer Heaven. Start with the Machine Gun Kid. Start with Shotmaker. You know, start with these very normal mercenary types before you slowly start to get into something a little more weird and out there, like Psycho Mantis or Fortune, or who's the weirdest boss fight in Metal Gear Solid 3? Is it the Pain?
It probably still is the Pain, because it's just like bees.
He has like wasps in his stomach that he spits at you.
Yeah, like machine gun bees. Yeah. Or grenade
or
bees.
the Sorrow. Like there's some really weird bosses that are iconic, but like you kind of have to work your way up to them, you know?
Yeah, and I don't know what exactly, because the way like they're showing all the, like the pre-production like photos and artwork, it's
just wild and out there from the get-go.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
There's like a Hydra coming at you,
blend.
And it's just like, oh my god.
And I'm like, oh yeah, it looks crazy now, probably because it's all like pre-production stuff. It's like this is probably stuff that, like they're just showing to like people who are like in for like the movie, like the producers, like this is what we're thinking about. This is kind of like the style.
That's what the director claimed. He said this isn't official concept art. He kind of compared it to kind of like what George Lucas did when he tried to sell Star Wars. He spent his own money. He went to Ralph McQuarrie and said, I need you to do like 7 or 8 paintings for me that I can take to the studio and show Fox, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what the movie will look like. And that's sort of the impression I got from this Jordan Roberts guy, that it was just kind of like concept art that he threw together that wasn't official, but just kind of like captured a flavor. And it's a flavor
the flavor's kind of scary.
I think a little too busy. Yeah. So anyway, back to Metal there to kill Venom Snake, and maybe Venom Snake's trying to throw him off. Like it could be interpreted a few different ways. And I think like a movie adaptation or maybe a remake as a game could answer some of those questions. Maybe it's Big Boss against Big Boss.
Yeah, because like going through like the whole game history, the real Big Boss, he's got like almost like issues with like these bigger than larger than life like characters and bosses that he's come across, to the point where he just like he even refers to like Solid Snake and Liquid when you hear in the tapes that they're freaks, product of science freaks. So I can only imagine like what he was thinking of the creation he created of Venom, because basically, yeah, he had a hand in it. Someone else started it, but he took hold of Venom. Like that was a project that was not even his. It was Zero, wasn't it? That was his project.
I think so. I think
he had an idea.
Terrible. That was Zero.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, and also like with the whole Venom snake. I think when Big Boss went down in a coma, he didn't know for how long. I think he started to do body doubles. That's where the whole body double started beginning.
That's right, because in Ground Zero, you're in a coma for 9 years along with the medic?
They lead you to believe that Big Boss has been in a coma. The medic has been in a coma for 9 years because it happens very quick.
But maybe not Big Boss. Maybe Big Boss is just undercover.
Yeah, because if you go back...
to get you out of there.
If you go back to, I think, what's like the truth ending, it's very quick. It's very sudden. You have to look straight to your left when you're waking up as Venom. And Big Boss is already up. And he hears someone moving and jumps back into his bed.
Oh.
I didn't see it until I saw it online.
I didn't know that.
Until someone online pointed it out by playing the game. And they said, like, you didn't notice this, but check this out. When you wake up, like, because the first time it's like it's like the beginning of the game. But when you go through the whole game, you're at the truth ending, you're waking up as Venom, and you're seeing everything come to light as truth, where the photo was like finally shown. Right in the beginning of that, you have to go straight to your left. And that's
interesting, because probably what I did, because is that the moment that Quiet comes in there to kill you?
It's after, yeah.
I probably turned to the right, and I'm like,
to look at the radio.
I want to see. No, I was probably turning right to look at Quiet. If that's the moment Quiet comes in the room and Big Boss saves your life.
Yes, and that's how Big Boss is like already like up, and he has like all his body basically works, because like when you're Venom, you're just basically just like flopping all around.
Oh yeah, you're the one who's limp, and he's the one that's not limp.
Yeah, he's not limp. He's like agile. He can like crouch.
Huh.
There's very quick.
There's a lot to discuss.
There's like once you miss it.
I'm gonna have to look into that, because I was always a little confused. I'm like, wait, have you and Big Boss been in a coma for 9 years exactly the same, like in the hospital room, side by side?
They make you think
or did he come in there later, like with bandages around his head, like undercover? And if he did come in there undercover, how come he didn't bring weapons with him? Like, why doesn't he have like a gun taped to his back or something?
No idea. They don't, that's
I don't know. We'll get into that later. We'll get into that later.
Dissection of that, yeah.
It's a fun game. I love the flavor of it, and that's something that maybe we haven't talked about enough. Is that the flavor of the game? Like the title font to Metal Gear is the font from Escape from New York.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, the title screen to Metal Gear, the font is the Escape from New York font. It's identical, and just the fact that you're playing a character called Snake and you're going on a mission. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that's pulled from Escape from New York, and not just Escape from New York, but other things. Bruce Lee was in a movie, and I think the translation to one of the Bruce Lee movies is The Big Boss.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And that's where I think the name Big Boss came from. And there's a whole bunch of elements like that have been like plucked from different sources and kind of dropped into the game. And even in the game, you'll find things happening in the game that would become part of pop culture later on. Like I talked about on Shane's podcast about how Metal Gear 2 took influence from Die Hard.
Yeah.
And I talked about, well, it's set on Christmas Eve, and there's a girl named Holly, and there's a scene where you run up a staircase, and there's a scene where you jump off a rooftop, like you're in Die Hard. You jump off a rooftop in an unusual way. Well, to tell you the truth, that happens in Metal Gear before it happened in Die Hard.
Yeah.
In Metal Gear, you jump off a roof and you use a parachute to live.
And that's when I told you, like, oh, maybe they should repel. And the next thing was like,
Yeah.
maybe he should look for like that fire hose and like wrap it around himself.
Yeah. And then in Die Hard, the very next year, Bruce Willis ties a fire hose around his waist and jumps off a rooftop. And then in Metal Gear 2, you jump off a rooftop with a glider. And then in Metal Gear Solid, you jump off the rooftop with a rope. And it's like, Kojima's putting a lot of stuff in video games that we hadn't even seen in movies yet. I think in like Rambo 3, I think Rambo goes up against a Hind D helicopter.
Yes, he does.
I think there's also a Hind D helicopter in Rambo 2. I'm probably going down a rabbit hole that's wrong. But no, I don't know. Whenever I see a Hind D helicopter now, I can't help but think about Metal Gear.
Oh yeah. No matter like where you at.
Yeah.
What are you watching?
Yeah, I think he pulled the Hind D helicopter from Rambo 2, which was 85, and he plopped it in Metal Gear in 87. But like I said, in the new Top Gun 2, there's a Hind D helicopter against a person on foot. And I was like, holy shit, like this makes me think of Metal Gear. It's now in my head, a Hind D? What's a Russian gunship doing here? Like it's so synonymous with Metal Gear now that I think Metal Gear invented the trope, even though I know they've been around and they've appeared in movies before Metal Gear 1, but I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in there I love. Just the idea that you're a one-man army. You're like John Rambo from First Blood, or you're like John Matrix in Commando, or you're like John McClane in Die Hard. Any of the great John characters from history, really.
Because there's a pattern there. It's all Johns.
They're all Johns. Even Big Boss is John. And I think Keanu Reeves has a John character, right?
John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick.
Yeah.
And Arnold in Kindergarten Cop is John Kimball.
Yes.
I don't know why, but John seems to be the manliest name ever conceived.
I don't know why. All I know is like
every action hero has played a John.
That's why I'm not a John. I'm a Johnny. I will not survive.
I like Johnny even better. Do you watch Cobra Kai?
Yes, I do.
I love Cobra Kai, and I love that they kind of took Johnny and like elevated him to co-star or co-lead with Daniel LaRusso. That's my favorite thing.
Those movies. I grew up in that.
I love them. All three of them. I watched them all the time before Cobra Kai was even on the radar. And when it came out, I was pleasantly surprised at how good of a belated sequel series it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to watch it. It'll be a fun lark, even though the trailers looked really good, actually. And I watched it, and it's probably the best belated sequel out there, right up there with Top Gun 2 and Creed 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. And to get ready for this episode, I just put on my headphones all day today and just started listening to 80s music. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, this song, if you do this game now, this song would be great for this battle or that battle, or like you got like montages, so cool. Like Solid Snake Training.
That's what I do when I play Metal Gear now. I mean, because you read the story and you don't listen to voices. I mean, I'm listening to my Walkman.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not a Walkman; it's a Toshiba. But people don't know Toshiba; they know Walkman.
Yeah.
I'm listening to my Toshiba portable radio, and I got I don't have it on right now, but I've got my Venom Snake watch on, and I'm adding a little more to the experience. It's kind of fun to listen to music on your iPhone with earbuds in. You can have on your Casio watch that looks like the Venom Snake watch. You can text people on your phone or on Twitter and say, "Hey, I'm in building 2, level 3. I'm trying to save Petrovich. How do I do this?" And people will respond. I mean, we're finding that a lot of the stuff that was in Metal Gear that just seemed like high-tech military equipment, right here in the present day in 2022, it's just the world we live in now. We live in a world of computers and advanced technology and portable communication devices that you take on a mission with you. That kind of stuff was all fantasy. Well, military hardware in Metal Gear in the 80s. Yeah. But now it's just like our normal daily lives. We're on computers and we're using communication devices and sending text messages that we have our cell phone underneath our desk looking around to make sure there's no boss or manager or supervisor looking at us. I don't know. I don't know what more I can say about it other than it just seemed like the perfect blend of all the movies I loved growing up with.
Oh, you can see it. It's like, even though like this game is like 8-bit, it's like the 80s are there. It's in that game.
It's there. It's present. I mean, you're rescuing female hostages and mad scientists and other soldiers that are buddies of yours. You're a one-man army. I mean, we didn't have the internet when Metal Gear came out. So when we saw that cover art, that Metal Gear cover art, that we didn't necessarily know that it was Kyle Reese from the Terminator.
Yeah, it didn't put it together.
But we looked at it and we're like, gosh, it
familiar.
really looks like Kyle Reese. And it really looks like what Kyle Reese is wearing in the Terminator. But unless you had access to the behind the scenes photos of the Terminator, which nobody did.
Yeah.
You just weren't sure, but it was part of the flavor of the game is that you were like Kyle Reese. You were a guy on a mission. You had no equipment. You're dropped into the situation and you have to find clothes. You have to find weapons. You have to find equipment, and you're going up against the odds are against you.
Yeah.
And you're trying to protect a target. In the case of Metal Gear, you're trying to rescue Gray Fox and other prisoners of war. You're trying to rescue the mad scientist, Dr. Petrovich, and his daughter, Ellen. You're trying to rescue Jennifer's brother. You know, you're having radio conversations, which we'd see in Die Hard the next year, where Bruce Willis gets one of the bad guys' CB radios, and suddenly we see that in Die Hard, like Bruce Willis, he has a relationship that develops with the main villain, Hans Gruber. And it's entirely over CB radio.
Yeah, because
if they were in the same room together, they'd be shooting at each other.
Exactly.
But suddenly you had a means where the bad guy and the good guy could develop a relationship over a radio where they're kind of inaccessible to each other. But that relationship is developing, and it's all escalating up to this grand finale where, you know, Bruce Willis is going to have to beat Hans Gruber at the end of the movie. And that's exactly what we see in Metal Gear, that your relationship with Big Boss develops over the course of the game. And at a certain point, you start getting hints that you might know who's in charge at Outer Heaven. You start getting bad intelligence from Big Boss. You know, he betrays your trust 3 times. He tells you to get in the wrong truck. He tells you to enter the wrong door. And he tells you to turn off your gaming system so that you can't play it anymore. And that the mission's over. You need to abort and leave immediately. And that, you know, your relationship develops with him over radio until you finally see him in the flesh at the finale of the game. There's a lot of cool stuff in the original Metal Gear. I think there's a lot of cool stuff to think about that you just don't get out of Super Mario Brothers 1 or 2 or 3 or Castlevania or Contra or Super C. All these games that we loved as a kid, I find myself coming back to them less and less and less through the years.
Yeah.
Metal Gear is one of the few that I keep coming back to because there's a little more to it than your typical 8-bit game.
Yeah, because like this is like, for me, like if I'm playing it back then, this is like the very first game where stealth is the key of the game. Everywhere else, all the other games, you can't sneak past these enemies.
It adds an element of realism because you're playing. I can't even remember. Like there's like Smash TV or like Bayou Billy or I think there's one game called just Commandos. A lot of games that maybe had the overhead perspective.
Yeah,
you're a soldier on the screen and soldiers are just coming onto the screen and they're coming at you and they're shooting at you. And they felt like quarter eaters in the arcade.
Yeah.
And it was fun and exciting, but there's something about evading enemy soldiers that feels more real and grounded. I can sneak past this guy, walk into the back of a truck. Oh, look, somebody left their key card in the back of this truck. I'm going to pick up that key card and start trying to open doors. and I'm sneaking past guards, and I'm now trying doors, and some of them open, and there's a prisoner in there who has information that actually directly contributes to something you need to know in the game, rather than just useless intelligence. And there's other doors you try to open when you find a key card and they don't open.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come back to that area later and try it again once you find a few more keys. There's a lot more going on to that game.
Yeah, and so it's a game that's still relevant.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot going on. Yeah.
At least like once in your times playing all these games, like just give this game a try. Like, I'm not telling you to like play it through the whole thing. Like, if there's a point where like you got to walk away because you're frustrated or you're lost, which I got lost like several times over, having to like backtrack and go forward. Just give it.
That's probably what frustrates people the most, is that it's possible to do, but it's very time consuming. Backtracking, checking all the doors again. That's usually what turns people off to the game. So if you want to have an enjoyable experience, don't feel bad about pulling up like a walkthrough on your phone and kind of halfway following it as you play the game. Just
because that's how these games like were kind of like needed. You needed like at least like some kind of guide as you were going through the game.
I mean, think about Metal Gear Solid 5 when we first played Ground Zeroes, where you had the iDroid, and you had the entire map on the iDroid to the environment. Yeah. And you could tag enemy guards that would show up on your iDroid and know their location and the routes they're walking. I mean, that's a lot like a walkthrough in the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's just like an in-game digital guide is what you got.
It's an in-game walkthrough that you add intelligence to. Like in Ground Zero, every time you grab a guard and put a knife to their throat and say, talk, and they'd say, I'm not telling you anything, or there's an ammo surplus shed next to the helipad, and then they would mark it on your map. Yeah. You're finding intelligence in the game, and that intelligence is getting added to your iDroid, which is like this like digital walkthrough. This, where like this information is put once you discover the information. And in the original Metal Gear, the information that prisoners are giving you is valid information.
Yeah, and it's like these are the information that you need to like progress the story.
They're telling you, hey, when you jump off the rooftop on building 1, you need a parachute. And it's absolutely true. It's not like other bullcrap games where, you talk to the townspeople and they're just giving you like ominous platitudes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's so dangerous at nighttime. Boy, this is a terrible storm, isn't it? It's like, well, you're not saying anything that's helping me in the game. There's nobody in Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, that tells you walk east, use the red crystal, and kneel in front of the cliff for the tornado to come and take you away to Dracula's castle. Nobody tells you that in the game. You have to buy a Nintendo Power issue to find that out. But in Metal Gear, the prisoners of war have intelligence, and you get that intelligence and you use it to proceed through the game.
Yeah, and
people call you on the radio and give you intelligence. You use that intelligence to proceed through the game. There's a lot of stuff that's way ahead of its time in that original Metal Gear.
Yeah, like, and going back, you will see that. Like, people who've played the modern games, you go back to this game, you will see things that go out throughout the whole series from then on. That'll connect.
It's really cool. I mean, when I play it, I like the graphics, but there's also a version of the game that's playing in my head too. Where I'm imagining what it would be like to walk through those concrete hallways and have these like wooden crates that have like military equipment in them. And I'm imagining army trucks driving past me or sitting there and I'm checking the back of them to see if there's any equipment that's been left behind. Yeah. It was just the good old days where the game was happening on the screen and there's also something playing out in your head. It's like when you read a book. You can watch Lord of the Rings, the movie, or you can read the Lord of the Rings book still, which has value, right? And when you read the Lord of the Rings book, there's a version of Lord of the Rings that plays out in your head that's unique to you. And I think that's what's happening when you play Metal Gear or Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake that maybe isn't happening as much when you're playing the Phantom Pain. or Snake Eater, because in Snake Eater or the Phantom Pain, it's all on the screen already.
Yeah, that's true.
The character models are realistic enough, and there's music, amazing music, and there's amazing 3D environments, and there's like cinematic cutscenes with camera angles and stuff. And there's something to be said about kind of simpler graphics on the screen and kind of letting the movie play out in your head a little bit too.
Well, you also kind of get it here too, because like the music for the game does play a factor when you're sneaking around.
It does.
You have like that music where it's like it kind of goes with like you're infiltrating and sneaking, especially at the end where it's like music's very frantic and very chaotic and fast. That's because you have to get out.
I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, early in the game, the music is really kind of slower paced and very sneaky and very. There's tension in it, but by the time you get to the end of the game, the tempo is super fast.
Yes,
and it's causing anxiety in you as you're playing the game, and they're throwing more and more at you in the game, and it builds the excitement, and it really gets your blood flowing, and it really gets you involved and invested in what's happening. Even for I don't know, even for an 8-bit game.
Yeah, and you get the trope at the end where the hero is running away from the explosion in the background of him.
But unfortunately, like kind of like the meme now that cool guys don't look at explosions.
He did.
They walk away in slow motion as something blows up behind them. Solid Snake totally turns around and looks at the explosion.
Yeah. Well, first he's like bucking it. He's like, it looks like he's like running
away.
Fast.
And then once the first blast happens and he knows he's kind of safe, he turns around and admires his work when the second explosion goes off.
He's probably looking at you like, yeah, I did that. Let me pop a smoke real quick.
Yeah.
For a guy who smokes
Snake
a lot,
just wasn't cool that first time around.
For a guy who smokes a lot, you can make him smoke a lot. He runs pretty quick. Good lungs.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
By Metal Gear Solid, when he shoots down the Hind D and it blows up in the background and he's walking away in slow motion.
Oh,
there's none of that in Metal Gear. In Metal Gear, he's admiring the explosion still. He's too green.
Yeah. He's like, ooh, hold on. I gotta look at this. Oh man.
Gosh, what's there left to be said about Metal Gear? We talked about the themes, how it's innovative, like how the real world stuff's incorporated, and just how you see like the series evolve. That's the thing I'm most interested in. I mean, I've told people on the other podcasts I've done now. I've done Shane's Mother-Based podcast, and I've done the Kojima Frequency with those guys. I'm more of a guy that's into film. I'm not much of a video gamer anymore. And like my film collection, I kind of organize it by like the director of the film and the year the film came out. So like on my shelf over there, I have like James Cameron's movies. I have the Terminator from 84, Aliens from 86, The Abyss from 89, Terminator 2 in 91, and so on. And I like seeing the history of these storytellers that I like. I like seeing an evolution of their career, where you can actually see their career evolving in each film they do. And that's what I get from Metal Gear. I see this evolution of Kojima's career.
Oh, yeah. And then you see like from the beginning of Metal Gear going all the way to like the last games of 5.
Yeah.
And then going to
you see those projects. Ideas that are kind of like, whoa, that's kind of a neat idea. The fact that there was a pack of cigarettes in Metal Gear and you can smoke the cigarettes to see the laser beams.
Yep.
But they also hurt your health. But separately from that, you can also get infrared goggles so you can see the laser beams, but it turns the room black and white.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt your health. That's just really cool.
Yeah, it's like telling you to choose. You want something convenient that'll hurt you, or do you want something that's like a little inconvenient but won't hurt you?
Yeah. And plus, you encounter those laser beams for the first time on the second floor of Building 1 where the goggles are. So depending on the route you take, whether you fight the machine gun kid first or you get the goggles first, will depend on what method you choose.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever, did you watch the TV show MacGyver growing up?
Yes, I did.
MacGyver reminds me a lot of Metal Gear. You've got this like top secret agent MacGyver who works for the Phoenix Foundation, and he's constantly sent on these like missions all over the world to get something. There might be an episode where he goes to Iraq to get like a flag that has like battle plans on it of like places they're getting ready to attack, and he'll steal that map. But the cool thing about MacGyver was that he went into all these scenarios and he wasn't armed with anything more than just an empty satchel and a Swiss Army knife.
Yep.
And it was only when he would get to the location that he would OSP. He would find the equipment on site that he needed to complete the mission. And Metal Gear just has a lot of that flavor. And even in MacGyver, do you remember the whole thing with MacGyver that he would never use a gun?
Yes. Yeah.
He was very anti-gun. He didn't want to hurt anybody. I don't think there's a single episode of MacGyver where he kills anybody, but he goes on these dangerous missions where people are constantly shooting at him. But he's a very humanitarian. He doesn't want to kill anybody. He just wants to go in there, complete the mission, and get the heck out of there, and maybe rescue a hostage or get some valuable piece of intel and then leave the enemy encampment. And, I mean, that was a cool show in '85. I think it's still a cool concept and a cool show. Not the new remake. The new remake sucks with Lucas Till.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
That's a terrible show. But the original show with Richard Dean Anderson, that was a cool show. People should check out MacGyver. But that's the stuff I see in Metal Gear, where our heroes being encouraged not to kill anybody, but to sneak through and complete mission objectives.
Yep.
There were a lot of video games like by Konami too, where like Castlevania or Ninja Turtles or Contra. These are games where you would be side-scrolling, and you would get to a point where it would stop side-scrolling. And the game was communicating to you, kill every bad guy on the screen before you can proceed forward.
Yeah.
In Metal Gear, you never had to do that.
Yeah. You could progress.
You can walk to screen 2, you can walk to screen 3, you can walk to screen 4. Maybe you can't walk to screen 5 because you need to find the key card that's hidden inside of a truck. But once you find the key card that's hidden inside of a truck, you can do what you want. You can go back to screen 1 again, or you can backtrack and check some doors. There's a lot of freedom in Metal Gear. Metal Gear really feels like an open world game to me.
Yeah, because
I know that
closed off.
Yeah. That phrase has like a new definition in this day and age. An open world now means like you have a vast landscape to explore.
Yeah.
Like in Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. People look back and they don't think of Metal Gear Solid 1 or Metal Gear Solid 2 as open world, even though it's totally the type of game where you can go back to the beginning or check a different hallway or go to floor 2 and check the doors up there once to get a different key card in your hands. But to me, the Metal Gear series has always felt like open world.
Oh, yeah. I would say like with each title, that world gets just a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger.
Where Kojima's created a living environment where stuff is happening. Guards are patrolling. Maybe they're standing still and they get bored and they fall asleep. Maybe they're standing guard next to the elevator, and after a few minutes, they go shift change and they leave the screen. And you've got like a minute before new guys come on the screen and stand in front of the elevator. Or maybe you're on a screen and you think there's nobody there, and then suddenly a soldier pops out of the back of a truck. And he starts patrolling the screen. And the cool thing is that if you go into the truck, he's in there. But if you wait for him to leave the truck and then you go into the truck, it's completely empty and he's not in there.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And you can grab the item with little resistance. I mean, there's a lot of like living, breathing elements in the original Metal Gear, even though it's an 8-bit game, that you just don't see that kind of intelligence and clever game design in the other games that we idolized growing up, like Super Mario Brothers 3 or Contra or Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. It's just not there.
That's true. That's true. And that tells you a lot about the game series and the man behind the game as well.
Yeah. It constantly seems like he's creating games that are way ahead of their time. Like even on the original PlayStation, like some of my favorite games are Resident Evil, which has 2D backgrounds. You walk in through a 3D environment, but it's like a 3D environment that's like a locked camera angle.
Yeah.
Where you've got like this 2D map painting, this digital map painting that's like a hallway with a curve at the end of it. And you've got a 3D character walking through this 2D map painting. and he can only like walk, down the hallway and turn the corner and or whatever. And Final Fantasy VII is the same way, where you've got like these 2D matte paintings on the PlayStation, and you've got this 3D character walking around these like 2D matte paintings where you can like, you can't walk through things, but you can walk around things, and very static environments. But that original Metal Gear is different, where he's created a 3D environment and you can walk through it and change the perspective and look through binoculars and zoom in on things and look at it through a different angle. Or and even though it's not a 3D environment in the original Metal Gear, which was 11 years before Metal Gear Solid, it feels 3D.
Yeah, you get like that
it's
feeling.
Pseudo 3D. It's that overhead perspective where you're looking down on this environment, and there's crates, and there's soldiers patrolling, and they're going left and right, and they're going up and down, and you can walk around the crates, and if you're behind a crate and he looks at you, he can't see you. But if you walk in front of him and he looks at you, he can see you, and suddenly he goes into alert mode, and the guards all over the floor trying to kill you. There's a lot of cleverness there.
Yeah, and there's also like a lot of ways to play through this game too, so you can repeat your different styles on how you want to play.
That's what I've been surprised by. I kind of felt like, well, there's a little bit of wiggle room in the game, but how much wiggle room is there really in the game? And then I started watching other playthroughs on YouTube. I'm like, holy crap, like people are approaching this game in ways I never thought to approach it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I thought my way was the only way, where you're on a floor and you find a key card and you check every door and you get all the equipment you can. But at a certain point, you got to get on the elevator and go to the next floor and try the same thing. And maybe you'll find a second key card. And then you start using that key card to check all the doors. And then you go back to the original floor and check all those doors. And I'm like, well, but then I'm watching other people play the game. They're approaching it totally differently, where they go to a different floor and they accomplish a different task first. That makes the game easier for them than I was making it for me. Where I'm calling Jennifer and Jennifer's saying, well, you've only got 3 stars. I won't talk to you. Other people have figured out a way to play the game that you have 4 stars before you can contact her. That way, when you do contact her, she's like, oh, you're cool. Here's a rocket launcher.
Yeah, no. And you know what? That also surprised me, to tell you the truth. That surprised me. Like,
the rank thing. Jennifer.
No, like basically how innovative and creative this game is, for like even going back to like 1987.
Yeah,
and
it's so cool.
And why does it surprise me when it's like your game designer is Hideo Kojima?
Yeah, even with those limitations, the stuff he pulled off, like we talked about the channel that you have to swim down, and the way, like, you can get the oxygen tank, but that's kind of out of your way. You got to go to building 3 and fight through building 3 to get the compressed air to swim. For years I've been using rations.
Yeah, there you go.
I swim down the channel and I've got rations, and at that point in the game you can hold just barely enough rations to get to the end of that drainage ditch, and that's how I approached it. It's incredible that people can approach this game very differently.
Yeah, and
Johnny will get into a machine gun fight with the machine gun kid, but you know what? I'm going to stand behind this concrete pillar and just launch remote controlled missiles at him because I don't want to die. Yeah,
because I was going to say, like, exactly, like if you listen to this episode, like you see like comparing gameplays between the two of us.
Yeah,
we had two different views, 2 different styles.
And there's more that we could have done. In the game, there's 2 alert modes. There's 1 exclamation mark above an enemy's head, and there's 2 exclamation marks above an enemy head. If it's 1 exclamation mark above their head, that means if you leave the screen, only the guards on that screen are aware of your presence. So if you leave that screen and go to the screen below it or above it or to the left or right of it, and you enter a new screen, suddenly you're no longer in an alert mode. If a guard sees you or a security camera sees you and there's 2 exclamation marks, they're chasing you throughout the entire floor of the building.
Yeah.
You can go into a different screen. You can even go into a little room where there's a prison. Well, maybe not a prisoner, but you could go into a little room and they'll chase you into that room too. They will chase you until you do one of 2 things: kill every single one of them, or go to the elevators and presumably switch floors.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you could go into the elevators and then walk back out, and then you're no longer in alert mode.
Oh, I didn't try that.
But there's it's a good way to cheat.
Yeah.
When even the elevators, those are your save points. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Very, very early in the game when you're still vulnerable, like let's say you get through the first floor, building 1, and you go up to floor 3, which is the only one you can go to.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to work your way through it. It's kind of a hard floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you die, you go back to the elevator.
Oh, okay.
If you manage to go all the way around that floor where you get rescue the prisoner that tells you about Diane, and you go up to the next screen, there's the second elevator. You could go to that second elevator, which is a new checkpoint, or you can go left where you get the cardboard box, the silencer, and the grenade launcher. But you're taking a chance.
Mm-hmm.
If you get killed trying to get those items, you're going to go back to the first elevator and have to play that entire floor over again, which is kind of a chore. Whereas what you should probably do is go up to the second elevator, go inside of it real quick, which is a new checkpoint, exit it, and then get the cardboard box and the silencer and the grenade launcher. That way, if you die trying to get those things, you go back to the second elevator, and everything you've accomplished before that second elevator, you've still accomplished.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of little tricks and tips in the game that are really revolutionary and really kind of cool. Yeah. I mean, I saw that kind of stuff it was probably in video games before then, but like in Halo, my brother bought an Xbox and we played Halo 1 when it came out. And in Halo 1, you're fighting your way through a game and there's like alien hordes coming at you. So the game was like a modern Contra at the time. But even in Halo, there were checkpoints. You would get to a certain point in the game, and it would say checkpoint saved. And if you died after that, you would go back to that checkpoint. If you died before that, you might find yourself going to the beginning of the game. Well, Metal Gear had checkpoints. Every time you entered the elevator shaft, that was a checkpoint.
Jeez, I was saving like nonstop.
You don't have to. You just go into an elevator shaft and exit it. And if you die right there on that screen, you're back in that elevator shaft a few seconds ago.
Well, I was gonna say that's case in point. Like that was something I didn't know, and that would go reflecting towards like future gameplays. Yeah,
there's Metal Gear still has a lot of secrets. I don't know. Like I remember there was an article recently. Johnny, do you remember catching wind of that article recently where somebody talked about the hidden panel on the wall at the end of Metal Gear, where the floor is electric and there's the hidden panel on the wall? And someone had an article recently that said 34 years later, Metal Gear still has secrets. Nobody had a clue that there was a hidden panel on the wall of one of the final rooms in the game. Just another Kojima, hidden secret, even in one of his earliest games. And the truth is, we knew about the hidden panel. Whoever wrote that article, they knew it was obscure enough that a lot of people didn't know about it. But
yeah,
there were plenty of us that had known about that hidden panel for decades at that point.
I was gonna say, like, not much of a secret, especially then with like there wasn't really the internet. It was word of mouth.
There wasn't the internet. I think I talked about that a little earlier, where like you were on the school bus as a kid, like exchanging information with other kids who maybe bought the Nintendo Power issue from March, and maybe you bought the one from April. And you're like comparing notes and going, hey, do you know how to get past the cliff in Castlevania 2? It's just a dead end. Like, what am I supposed to do? Or if I go all the way right in Castlevania 2, there's just a lake and you can't go any further. And if you jump into the lake, you die. Like, how do you go further right? Well, you got to hold the blue crystal and you have to kneel. And then the screen lowers and there's like a hidden area below the lake that you go. And you only knew to do that with an issue of Nintendo Power. Even the original Metal Gear on Nintendo is guilty of that, where it had things that were almost impossible to solve unless you had the issue of Nintendo Power that it told you how to do it. But the original Metal Gear on MSX, I don't think it has those flaws.
No.
I think the original Metal Gear on MSX is a brilliantly designed game where you can figure it out. A little bit of trial and error, and you can figure it out very easily. It's all about going to new areas that you haven't been in before and getting those new items in those areas, which might include a new key card that allows you to open new doors and explore new areas.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and that's like basically the prize and the joy of these games.
There's a sense of accomplishment when you beat Metal Gear and you don't reference a guide and you kind of figure it out on your own. I don't know. To me, it feels like you infiltrated Outer Heaven, you rescued the hostages, you destroyed their secret weapon, Metal Gear, and you confronted your commanding officer who was a traitor, and you defeat him, and the whole base goes up in flames, and you escape, and you're Solid Snake, and you save the day. That's an aspect of the series that I miss. I want to get your opinion on this too. I miss base infiltration. I miss where am I going with this? I miss a simpler story. In Metal Gear Solid 2, they started to bring in like AI and the Patriots and the S3 plan, and Ocelot is like the master architect of like the past 50 years of Metal Gear lore. I kind of miss a simpler time where it's just like, go sneak into this base, find weapons and equipment on site, find this agent that we have in there, make contact with the resistance, and get to this ultimate weapon, Metal Gear, and destroy it. I like that kind of simpler time. By the time you get to Metal Gear Solid 4 and there's like a Arsenal gear with like a Mount Rushmore of the snakes on it.
Yeah.
And there's like an AI George Washington supercomputer inside of it that you need to upload the virus to, that like a little kid designed.
It gets too crazy.
It got a little too crazy sometimes, and it got a little too messy. I kind of miss the simpler era where you're Solid Snake, you go into Outer Heaven or Zanzibar Land or Shadow Moses, you rescue the VIP hostages, you take out the bosses, and you destroy the Metal Gear. And you take away the enemy's ability to launch a nuclear weapon.
And you don't really
miss that. Yeah,
you don't really get back to that until, I mean, there's some fragments of it in Peace Walker, but you don't get back to that to Ground Zeroes, which is like very small.
That's why I loved Ground Zeroes. Ground Zeroes was very simple. Like, even at the time when I played it, I'm like, gosh, it really is kind of short, and there's no boss fights. Like, maybe they could have at least like had a boss fight in there or something, but no. Like, the more I think about it, I really love Ground Zeroes. I love that you climb up a cliff, you see an enemy base, there are hostages that you have to rescue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of soldiers, and there's a lot of intelligence you can get out of those soldiers. There's a lot of cassette tapes you can get intelligence from. Even when you rescue Paz, there's like a tank that suddenly goes online and starts patrolling the base.
It starts changing.
And it's like, that's the closest thing to a boss in the game, but even that you can just completely bypass.
Yeah.
Or you can call in the helicopter, and you and Paz can hop on it and get the hell out of there. And I think that's part of the reason I kind of like Ground Zeroes more than the Phantom Pain, Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid 4, maybe Metal Gear Solid 3, definitely Metal Gear Solid 2. I miss just, here's a base, sneak into it, steal some weapons, steal some equipment, and complete this task. I think the series got a little bogged down by its own like convoluted continuity of like AI is running the world, and there's like a secret Illuminati organization that's behind it all, and we have to take them down with a computer virus, and it's all the boss's will, and people misinterpreting the boss's will, and Zero kind of going corrupt, but then you find out maybe that wasn't the case because he had vocal cord parasites. Don't get me wrong, I love it all. Each game, there's like things I love from the game that's in no other game in the series, but I kind of miss the simpler time of Snake going into a base and just he has a few tasks to complete.
Yeah, I mean, even if you bring that back that fundamentality of like gameplay, it would be you'd be just fitting right in. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
like so grand and like massive, like where it's just like the story itself just feel like it's gonna like basically collapse on you because it's just so heavy.
That's where I feel like Metal Gear is now, where like the story is so big that it's almost like
Mhm.
collapsed in on itself, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever Konami does with the future of Metal Gear, like they do like a Metal Gear Solid 6 or
Mm-hmm.
something, I think they kind of need to wipe the slate clean a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and say the Patriots were defeated.
Mm-hmm.
Snake is dead. Big Boss is dead. Zero is dead. Ocelot is dead. That storyline is done.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's do a story where I don't know, maybe you're the son of Johnny and Meryl, and you're a Foxhound rookie, and you're 19 years old, and maybe Meryl and Johnny are like the commanding officers at Foxhounds, and they help you throughout the mission. But take it back to basics.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell a game that's in the not too distant future where you're a Foxhound operative and you have to sneak into an enemy stronghold, and then start building a brand new continuity from there.
And that'd be the perfect
or rather than continuity, I mean overarching story.
Yeah.
We had the Patriots saga where people misinterpreted the boss's will. Let's kind of enter a new era and let's start simple again.
If only.
I'm so worried that Metal Gear Solid 6 will come out and they're like, there was a backup file on the Patriots.
Or the whole like what Star Wars did, like Ocelot didn't die, he's like held alive by the machines. And
or like they cloned the boss and now you're playing the boss as like a 25-year-old in 2003. That might actually be cool. But
I mean, if you do like a Westworld kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or you're a robot.
The continuity of Metal Gear is so convoluted at this point where like I don't even understand the difference between the Wiseman's Committee, the Patriots, the Philosophers, or George W. and the other AI. I'm confused how those are different things or why they needed different names.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like 5 AIs. There's like a George Washington and a blank and a blank and a blank.
Yeah.
And a 5th one. But we were also told that there's 12 Patriots. But we were also told that the Patriots died 100 years ago. But the boss was brought back as an AI as a test because they want to bring back the 12 Patriots as AIs. But then there's only 5 AIs that they're trying to get out control of in Metal Gear Solid 4. It's
just too much.
I can't keep track of all this crap in my head. I'm old now. Like,
oh my god, the way you just described it is just like my head started hurting. I was like, wait a minute, no, hold on. Too much information.
Let's take it back to basics. Let's kind of get back to a simpler time where it's like there's an enemy nation, and they've developed a new super weapon. And we need you to go in there and find this contact in their base, make contact with them, and maybe complete a few more tasks and take out their weapon. And then from there, you can start to make it convoluted again.
And I can only hope. That's all I can say, those words.
I think, the 35th anniversary, you can't help but think about like where you'd want the series to go forward. Like, Johnny, what's your dream next Metal Gear game?
I mean, it's like you said before, like you need to bring it back. You need, if you want to use like, you need a Foxhounder. And you need that Foxer to infiltrate a base. Now, I don't know what the story would be, but I can see like a successor towards like sort of like Meryl and Johnny like rebuilding Foxhound from the ground up again.
Yeah.
And starting
they don't even really need to, because at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, Foxhound was still around and thriving.
Yeah.
Johnny and Meryl had a unit. I think they all survived. I don't remember if they died. They survived?
I think they survived. Yeah.
There was the guy with the tattoo in the back of his head that looked like an exclamation mark, or maybe it was a mohawk.
No, it was a mohawk.
They had a unit of guys, and they were in Foxhound. And I think even I don't remember if Colonel Campbell was still part of Foxhound. He may have been like something else.
Mm-hmm.
But Johnny and Meryl were, and their team was, and
yeah, because their gear
they were
was all
still around
Foxhound.
at the end of the game and got married. To me, it seems like that's your narrative thread to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, going forward, yeah, because you're done with the snakes are over, basically.
Otherwise, why did you have Johnny and Meryl get married?
Yeah. So it's like,
so they got married in 2014.
Yeah, you have an 18-year-old.
And yeah, so why not? They have an 18 or 19-year-old who's a green rookie in Foxhound, a new agent, and something goes wrong. Maybe a helicopter crashes and his mom and dad were on it, Meryl and Johnny, and now they're prisoners of this enemy rogue nation. And he's the agent that has to be sent in. I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of spitballing here. It's not gold, but I think my ideal next Metal Gear game, even though I'm talking about making it simple again and going back to basics, I like the open world environment of 5.
Oh, yeah.
I would like it a lot if, like, kind of the scenario of Metal Gear 2, which we're going to talk about next, was Zanzibar land was a new rogue nation that was located between the borders of Iraq, Afghanistan, and Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And between those 3 countries where they border each other, you had a small rogue nation, Zanzibar land, which had its own base, its own leader, its own military force. I think I would like to see an open world game where you're on the border of a couple of countries, maybe 3 countries or 4, like that scenario. And let's just use those as examples. We'll say that the 4 countries are Zanzibar lands, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Russia. And you got this giant open world, this terrain that would take you a long time to walk through. And as you walk through it, you could pass from one country to another country. And each country like has its like main base or capital and like smaller bases and outposts. And maybe maybe the countries are at war. So there's multiple factions, kind of like they were talking about for Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
Maybe each country is developing its own Metal Gear project. So like over in country number 1, they're developing a Metal Gear that's tall and can fire 6 missiles. In country 2, maybe they're developing a Metal Gear that's wide and only, shoots 1 large ICBM on its back. In the 3rd country, they're developing a program, but maybe it's like Metal Gear Geckos, where they're just like walking around the country and patrolling like Ed 209 or something.
Yeah.
And you're the soldier that's in the middle of this like political flashpoint where something's about to go down, and your job is to like sneak into these countries and infiltrate their bases and outposts and collect intelligence and kind of uncover this ongoing plot and basically diffuse this political flashpoint situation, before World War III break. I don't know.
I mean,
something.
And something is better than nothing right now.
Yeah. Give me that next step that these games have been making larger and larger environments for you to interact with. Give me that next step. Give me something that's even bigger than Metal Gear Solid 5 and incorporates some of those ideas that just didn't make it into Metal Gear Solid 4. In Metal Gear Solid 4, there were supposed to be like 4 factions at war. And one of those factions was like Liquid Ocelot's faction. And you were supposed to be able to help these guerrilla fighters on these different factions fighting. And as you did, you would gain the trust of one, and maybe the other 2 would be pissed off at you, and they would start shooting you on sight, or vice versa. And one by one, those elements got stripped out of Metal Gear Solid 4 until eventually it was just like the Resistance fighters and Ocelot's bad guys.
Yeah.
And you could help the Resistance fighters and they were cool with you, or you could be like, you could butt heads with them and they'd shoot at you. But a lot of those early ideas they were talking about just didn't make it into the game.
Yeah, no, that would have been great.
And I think those were some cool ideas when they planned Metal Gear Solid 4. And I'd like to see those ideas come back with kind of a larger open world, that's like 3 or 4 times as big as we got in the Phantom Pain. I don't know. But even though I'm talking about making the game bigger, and having like different bases and different factions in different countries, let's the AI and the Illuminati and all that other stuff, Ocelot being the puppet master. Let's start to whittle that stuff back and get back to you're just a one-man army collecting weapons on site, collecting equipment on site, and but the enemy is strong, and there are multiple of them, and there's different bases in different regions. Maybe that country is mostly jungles, and they have like a fortress instead of a jungle area. And maybe that country over there, maybe they're down in a valley, so there's like lots of canyon walls and SAM sites patrolling the top of the canyon walls, and so you can't fly your helicopter in there. And I don't know. And I'm sure people are listening to this, rolling their eyes, going, "What are you talking about?"
I think
clearly the right answer is you clone Solid Snake and have him do more adventures.
I think that's where like that'd be great for like the stopping point. Like,
yeah,
for the 35th anniversary, it's like we're here and we're telling people like give it a try, especially with the anniversary. Give Metal Gear a try.
Yeah, 35th anniversary. Try to celebrate in some way. If your way of celebrating is going back and just playing your favorite game, you pop in your copy of Snake Eater and you play it through and enjoy it. That's great and all, but it's the 35th anniversary of the original Metal Gear.
Yeah, and it's something that should be like revered. 35
Snake's
years.
Revenge is, or Snake Eater is only 18 years old at this point. It's not the anniversary of that. It's the anniversary of Metal Gear. Like that's just what we're trying to do here. Talk a little bit about the 35 years, talk a little bit about the original Metal Gear, and try to encourage people out there that maybe haven't played it to play it. Or if you have, go back and maybe reappraise it again.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to say, like, I want to thank you for coming on to the podcast. I'm literally going to stop recording and see how much we got. But
we've been talking a while. Yeah. What, 4 hours now?
I'll find out. But yeah, I want to I want to basically thank you for like basically jumpstarting this whole like going through the catalog now. Like it started with like the first two games, and it's like I think you came around and you were like, "Hey, why don't we do like every game?" And I was like, "Let's go." The whole
I have a habit of doing that where I'm like, I have a small idea, and then suddenly I'm like, well, I mean, if we were to expand that idea, what would I do? Well, we could discuss the first two games because I'm kind of a guy that appreciates the MSX era, and I'm building a model for Metal Gear 2, so that would give us a reason to talk about it. And then I'm feeling like, well, why are we stopping with Metal Gear 2? Why, the anniversary to Metal Gear Solid is in September. And then in November, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 both had their anniversaries. So
I mean, it's doable.
Go a little further.
It's doable.
It's doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to be doing this for like a couple of years now. You do realize that we're going to be doing this for a couple of years now. So
I'm okay with that.
Are you in for the long haul?
This has been a pleasure, Johnny.
Yeah.
I like talking to you. I think of you as a friend.
Oh, same as always. Like in the beginning, I feel like maybe I was like too jokey with him, and he was getting annoyed with me in the beginning.
I loved it because the thing is, like, I didn't have the model kits until after Christmas because I was like, because like for some reason my family's like they don't gift giving is not their strong suit. It's not their language of love. Typically, I'll find myself with a couple of extra $100 on Christmas. And a couple of extra $100 on my birthday, which is 18 days after Christmas. So I'm like, okay, I can buy the model kits with that money.
Yeah.
So that's why I had the countdown 45 days until construction begins, which I realize is foolish now because I can get a lot of information out of the part by itself before I glue it to another part. So right now I'm going through and cataloging all the parts and figuring out where they go and measuring them and stuff and figuring out things based on those measurements. It was foolish to think I'd start gluing pieces together on January 2nd. But you would always chime in. You'd always go, I'm training Solid Snake and I'm going to blow it up. And I loved it.
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, Johnny's getting into the spirit of this. And he's drawing attention to it. And he's, he's adding to the conversation in ways that other people weren't. So I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blast.
Everyone else was just clicking the like button. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool that you're clicking the like button, but
I'm going to chime in now.
Please talk to me. I mean, after I did the Kojima frequency appearance, I said, "Oh, Q&A. If anybody has a question about what we talked about, or a question about the model build, or I can clarify anything, please ask." And people click the like button, and nobody asked a question. So I think sometimes people are just intimidated to talk to.
I think so.
People in the community like yourself who have a podcast. People are intimidated to reach out to Shane or to Nitroid or Fingers or Days Ahead or Apache or me, who I'm doing this model build thing. So I guess it's kind of made me I don't know. I guess it's kind of made me a figure in the community. But I'm just a fan. This model thing was just a fan thing to share with the fans. I love talking to people.
Yeah, and basically that's who broke my shyness to get this going, was Shane.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you, Clint, got me going to revisiting my podcast because it was lingering there for a while. And I think you started retweeting hey, weren't the episodes supposed to be released? I think you were the one.
Yeah, because you'd mentioned episode 3 or 4. It was a very early episode, early on, where you're like, "We're going to release it soon."
Yeah,
and I'd look for it and go, "Hey, it didn't come out yet. Where is it?" And yeah, I had to ask because I'm like, well, "Where is episode 3 still coming?" And I don't know. I like, to tell you the truth, I've been enjoying these podcast appearances. It's kind of fun.
Oh,
I don't. I could never do that. I don't think I could. I'm not very tech savvy. That's probably why we had the audio issue at the beginning. And just choosing a podcast name and making a logo and audio editing. I have a friend that did that. He had a movie podcast, and we're actually talking about me joining him for a movie podcast. But I think I'm best suited for just kind of the occasional guest spot.
I mean, yeah,
come in and talk about it because I know a lot about it and I want to talk about it because I have things I'm trying to work out in my head still that I don't quite understand. But it's kind of fun to go back and look at it and celebrate it and talk about it and I don't know, hope, because how long is the recording file? It's 4 hours, right?
I think we're getting to close to 5 hours now. Well, I'm gonna say okay. Obviously, people can reach you on Twitter. What is your Twitter handle? Because I'm going to wind it down now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm saying you can. This part's I'm going to edit out. Your Twitter handle. Where can people reach you?
Hey, people can reach me on Twitter at Metal Gear D Model, and come check it out. I'm trying to reverse engineer how they made that sweet reference model of Metal Gear D that they used to market Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake back in 1990. I mean, it really seems to be the first 3D Metal Gear, and I would challenge anybody out there to find a picture of the backside of this model.
Yeah, I know that's the one thing that's hard to find, and I would tell people, don't be intimidated by you're where you are in the community. Ask questions. Ask Metal Gear D model.
Don't be afraid to ask me questions. I'm just a guy. I'm just a video game nerd that likes to watch movies. I'm no one. I worry that I worry that I'm starting to become a figure or something.
I think you're starting to become a figure. I noticed when I said I was getting you, I started noticing you popping up now.
Yeah.
Right?
I think people are afraid to ask me questions because I'm Metal Gear D.
Yeah,
but I'm not. I'm Clint. I'm just a dude that plays video games.
There's a code name.
Yeah, I guess I have a code name now. I wish I'd thought about that because Nitroid has a cool code name. Fingers has a cool code name. Cool name. Apache Smash has a cool code name. Days Ahead has a cool code name. But Metal Gear D Model, that doesn't seem like a cool code name to me at all.
I mean,
I would have chosen something else. My online handle when I used to play video games online with friends was Chuck Bombs. I would always go into the alias Chuck Bombs, and I would act like I was James Bond or something. Bombs. Chuck Bombs.
I'm keeping that in the episode.
Because that fit my playing style. Like I was the guy in Halo that was throwing like sticky bomb grenades at people, and they were going, "God damn it, Clint! We're playing with sniper rifles. Stop throwing the sticky bomb grenades at us." But I love that. Like I love being the source of much destruction in video games.
And
feel free to reach out. I'm so worried that people aren't reaching out to me because they're worried that they'll ask a question like, could you explain this? And then I'll turn around and go, "Oh, what are you, some idiot or something?"
Possibly. I mean, like,
like I'm going to publicly humiliate them, or they're too intimidated to ask me the question. But I'm not Kojima, and I'm not Shinkawa. I'm not even Shane or Nitroid. I'm just a fan. The only reason I have a bunch of Twitter followers is because I'm following people every day and getting them to follow me back. And the only reason I'm doing that is I'm trying to connect with Metal Gear fans all over the world who may have pictures of Metal Gear D that we haven't seen yet, or may have like pieces of marketing material that we don't know about yet that's not widely known.
Yeah, and that's how I connect with
you. You don't have the artwork of Metal Gear Solid Rising Lightning Bolt Action. It has a little picture of the Metal Gear D model. It does? Can you scan that for me? And that's why I'm connecting with people on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't need 10,000 followers to flatter my ego. I don't need 10,000 followers to like my posts. I need 10,000 followers so that I can get another 10,000 and another 10,000. And hopefully at a certain point, I connect with somebody who goes, hey, I went to the Metal Gear 25th party back in 2012, and I took a bunch of pictures of that Metal Gear D model. Let me share them with you now. I'm trying to find people and connect with people. And so far it's working. A lot of the pictures I have because people have shared them with me. And that's why I'm trying to make connections on Twitter. It's not because it's not because I think I'm a celebrity or a figurehead, or I think I'm important, or I want as many people as possible to like my tweets. I want to connect with the entire Metal Gear fan base and see who I can find who may have that critical piece of visual information that'll help crack this Metal Gear D model.
And that's what I'm hoping, like, with you going out there on these platforms, on these platforms, the podcast platforms, get your information out there.
Other than that, I'm just a huge nerd who loves talking Metal Gear and loves answering questions, because when somebody asks me a question, the thought never occurs to me, well, that they asked me a question with a super easy answer. I'm going to make fun of them. That thought never occurs to me. When people ask me a question, I look forward to the opportunity to answer it and get this information out there, because that's my whole mission statement. Is I'm looking into how they built the Metal Gear D model and documenting it, because I want to get that information out there. But in the meantime, I'm more than happy to answer questions and get information out there in little bits at a time.
And that's what I'm going to tell
hopefully hopefully the day will come in a year or two where I put all of the information out there at once in like a PDF document.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, any question you had about what Metal Gear D looked like or what it was built from, here it is. Start on page 1. You'll see part A1 on the Croat model. And by the end, you'll be looking at an exact replica of the Metal Gear D model that's in my house, in my office. And my goal getting this information out there would be that you all get to do it too. I want to see a fan in Europe build the Metal Gear D model. I want to see a fan in New Zealand build the Metal Gear D model. I want to see a fan in, China build the Metal Gear D model. Just because I think it's cool.
I was gonna say, like, once you get this done, that is like the first thing I am doing, because I don't really do model kits or anything, but that is the first thing I would do. That was the first thing I would do.
Well, if you want to, I'll slip you a few model kit names, because more than likely, when I put this out there, the prices of these model kits might shoot up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
If you got on eBay right now and typed in Croat model, you might find like 7 or 8 models for sale, and depending on when they came out, you might pay $125 or you might pay $75, but they're literally identical.
Mm-hmm.
But when I put this information out there and Metal Gear fans start to try to do it,
mm-hmm.
there might be less models for sale and they might start to go for prices like 175,
mm-hmm.
200, 250. So it might not hurt to get a head start on that. But if I die tragically in a car accident and the information's never released, I'm sorry that you spent the money on a crow.
They can figure out what else to do with it, or maybe someone else will continue.
I've handed a lot of the information over. You have the information.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the hosts over on the Kojima frequency have the information,
mm-hmm.
and Shane has the information.
Oh my God! You know what you're creating? You're like almost like becoming the model kit world of Big Boss with your nation and your Metal Gear.
A little bit. A little bit. That's why I geek
like.
out at the end of Metal Gear Solid 5, where Big Boss gets on the motorcycle and he's lighting up his cigar and he takes off.
Yeah.
I'm geeking out because it's been retconned that the next thing he does in the continuity was build Metal Gear D.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because he's no longer the leader of Foxhound, I guess. He's no longer the leader of Outer Heaven. That's been retconned to be Venom. So the next thing John, Big Boss, does in canon is start Zanzibar Land and build Metal Gear D. So I always geek out a little bit when like Ocelot's lighting a cigar for him and handing him the new passport and ID papers. And I'm like, yeah, you let Big Boss go into hiding so he can make that Metal Gear D.
And I'm going to say and that's where we'll end this episode, Clint. I'm going to thank you for coming on. I probably ended this episode I think I ended this episode 3 times, but we'll edit. I'll edit it.
Pick the ending you like best. Like exactly. Metal Gear Solid 1.
All these different endings, alternate endings. I'm going to stop and see what. And that is the end of this special episode for episode 10 of Outtakes, Schmotakes, and Brocakes. I want to thank Metal Gear D Model for coming on to the episode and also for basically embarking on a journey with me to go with the whole catalog of this franchise. The anniversary episode, episode 11, will be out July 13th. I'll send out another tweet just to remind everyone. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Intro and outro music by Fingers. And like always, I always say, go to your local libraries. They do a lot of great things for children all the way up to adults. And they do need our support. Thank you for listening.